Hi alle sammen. This is Eva Gildum, and I'm really excited to be part of Humans of Telecom.
Hey everyone, a very warm welcome to Humans of Telecom, the Unplugged podcast. This is your host, Anurag Aggarwal. As you all know, this is a platform where we shine a light on the incredible people driving change in our industry, not just through technology, but through courage, curiosity, and a deep sense of purpose. Well, and today's guest is a striking example of that spirit. I met her at a conference a few months ago, and after a brief chat, I just knew that she had a phenomenal story to share with all our listeners. Her career began during a major shift in the Danish mobile market, and she's been challenging the status quo ever since. With a strong foundation in strategic sales and wholesale roaming, she went on to help transform the way roaming business is optimized, and later guided a global company through acquisition and transition. But it's not just a business acumen that sets her apart. It's a belief in putting power back in the hands of telecom professionals. She champions autonomy, real decision-making, and building tools that actually serve the people using them. These days, she's leading a global analytics business that supports over 130 mobile operators worldwide. And that's just scratching the surface of what we'll uncover in this episode. So, please join me in welcoming Eva Gildum, a customer-first leader, a fearless innovator, and the managing director at Yaana Solutions. Eva, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of this journey. We'd love to hear more about you. Which part of the world do you belong to? And from where are you joining this podcast today?
Hello, Anurag. Thank you so much for that very glorious introduction, and thank you for having me. I look forward to our conversation today. I am joining today from my hometown, Copenhagen in Denmark. I'm a Scandinavian. I like to call myself that, as I am half Norwegian and half Danish, basically.
Wonderful. So we have somebody here from the land of the Vikings.
Absolutely. I love references to Vikings, and I like to say that ultimately we're all probably all related because the Vikings did actually span a big part of the world.
Absolutely. I agree to that. And Eva, a very interesting short name you have. What's the background to that?
Well, I guess you could say it's a biblical name. So Eva is a Danish version of Eve, so Adam and Eve. Depending on your faith, you could say some of the first people on the world or on the planet.
Awesome. So I think today I've got the privilege of hosting the first lady of the world.
I wish, or I don't know if I do, but yeah, that's the name.
Awesome. And let's start by knowing a lot more about your journey. So while I did mention some things in the introduction, but better heard from you directly. So let's hear the story of Eva and how did you get into the world of telecom? Was it by accident? Was it by choice? How's the journey been for you so far?
Well, I guess it started quite early, and I've spent most of my career in telecoms. I started as a sales assistant. Way back in the day when I was studying, and you could say it was a little bit by chance. I basically needed money and got an internship with Telia when they were just conquering the market in the liberation of the market in Denmark. So getting a license for GSM 1800, battling, trying to get dual band handsets were the big challenge at that point in time. So although it was a huge company or a big company, the startup was very much the vibe was very much a startup mode. So it was a lot of fun, a lot of young people working hard to conquer a project that was called Mission Impossible, which was basically securing a market position and challenging the incumbent, which worked out quite well. It worked out very well. So I did that for quite a few years, and I liked the startup vibe at that point in time as well. So when I was asked to join another startup within personal planners, actually digital personal planners, and this is obviously also a while ago, I took the jump to do that. So I did spend 1 year trying to innovate personal planning. It didn't work. We failed miserably. So a while after, I was back into telco, and that's actually when I started within the roaming and joined a data clearinghouse at that point in time that was called DANnet. And again, at that point in time, it was a startup vibe. It was very dynamic and also a bit challenging initially. You need to start learning to speak in acronyms. And I think that's when I started figuring out what that was all about. I spent quite a few years from a sales perspective in data clearing, financial clearing. I managed to go to some very interesting destinations. I got assigned to the CIS countries, so I've been to many of the stans at that point in time, promoting financial clearing and trying to conquer that specific market. I guess I was never a super fan of all these acronyms and the technical part of it. So when I got the opportunity to join a workforce, a task force that looked more at consultative selling, I jumped on board on that because I think that's something that really is a right way to address the market within telecoms, especially because we're such a technology-driven industry that sometimes I feel we might lose a little bit the focus on why is it we're doing it. We understand the what's, but sometimes asking the whys. So back in the day, the DANnet had become Mac. It had been acquired, and I guess today Mac is back. It's a funny little concept. But moving out of this technical approach was actually when I came to be employee number one at a company called NeuString at that point in time, still working with that product today. And the idea that motivated me to make that move was essentially that we wanted to provide a service to the market that was focused on financial analysis and not technical enabling. So essentially that was the way that NeuString started. And NeuString started without there actually being anyone else doing the same thing and building that track record, getting the first customer and building it to what is now today the 130 plus MNOs, which is also part of Yaana because Yaana acquired NeuString about, I guess, almost nine years ago today. And that is where I am. So I guess you could say telecoms, born and bred, been jumping a little bit back and forth between different players in the industry, but always with a focus on this working with the people and translating the technology into people values, if you can put it like that.
Interesting. I think that's a very nice wrap up, transforming technology into people values. That's a very interesting take, I must say. And quite a fascinating journey, starting as a sales executive to all that you've accomplished over the years. And within this fantastic journey of yours, if there is one moment or something very impactful that you can share with our listeners, what would that one moment be?
It's a little bit difficult, Anurag, because I think there's many moments, and I'm a fan of celebrating both the big and the small wins that make a difference. But if I have to choose something, I think from the NeuString days, the early days, the first account that we secured, that was an amazing experience because we were up against all the, let's say, the traditional players where I also had my background from. My former colleagues were saying, guys, this is never going to happen. No one is ever going to be willing to send you tap files so that you can do the analysis. No one is ever going to invest in analytics for, at that point in time, it was actually retail roaming. So that moment of actually being able to prove that the idea was valid was definitely something that I remember very fondly as a success moment, a feeling of accomplishment together with the team. And then as an extension of that or in connection with that, also getting this moving from the first account to large accounts and actually seeing how other players were entering the market that we had established. I think those are the key moments that if I have to choose one area, I think that would probably be it.
Interesting. Yes, absolutely. I think in our journeys, we all have some of these moments which are very defining. And I truly agree that what you shared resonates with that. And Eva, let's move on and shift gears from the telecom side and talk more about Eva as a person. So, Eva, I know that you have so many people who are your fan followers all over the world, especially since you've been traveling all over the world and impacting so many people and companies and places. But if there is something shocking or unknown about Eva, what would that one thing be?
Well, actually, I mean, I think there's probably a lot. Although I consider myself an open person, I'm also a typical scando and slightly reserved when it comes to sharing a lot of personal things. And when I have conversations with people, which I very much enjoy, I think I have a tendency of asking more questions than I answer. So, although I know many people know me from enjoying late night networking involving drinks and dancing, that's my most known aspect. But I guess people would probably not know that I do actually also have an introvert side. So I do really honestly enjoy puzzles. I've even knitted a few sweaters. So these are like quiet moments for myself where I just basically work on a puzzle, have a glass of wine, and just chill. I don't think I've admitted that to many people, but I guess I have now.
Eva, this is I think the fourth or the fifth time a guest has come on the show and mentioned that they have this introvert side of theirs as well. And while they are often the life of a party or while they're on a stage, they have such a magnetic stage presence. But at the same time, they have an introvert side. And it is very interesting. They like to get back into their own zone and they are happy being just by themselves. And at the same times, they are happy being a part of the chaotic networking events and the post event parties and all that we have as well. So,
and enjoy as well, by the way.
oh, absolutely. I remember you rocking some of the parties I've seen you at, especially in Dubai. So, totally get it that, this dichotomous nature is something that is prevalent amongst a lot of us. And we are able to live with harmony within both these sides put together. So, totally get it. All right. And beyond a glass of wine and a puzzle and knitting a sweater, what else recharges Eva? What are your passions and interests like?
Well, I do like socializing, both at conferences around the world, but obviously also with friends and family. And then I've been for the last many years a very passionate runner. I love running. I'm not a speed runner or a distance runner. I call it meditative runner, if that's the right term. So for me, I use running to clear my brain, to relax, and to also just meditate. I've been working from home for a very long time, and this is also pre-COVID days. And for me, it was a way to get out of the house if I'm not on the road, which I am quite often, of course. But running is something that I can bring with me everywhere. So that's something that I am passionate about, and I need it to basically stay sane with everything going on. And then I also love playing tennis. I wouldn't say that I am very good at it yet. I only picked it up as an adult. And it is extremely difficult, but also something that I try to do as much as possible when I get a break here and there. It's a social thing for me as well. It's not competitive, but it's social, playing with friends, doubles with my girlfriends, combined with a little wine after is also something that gives me a good recharging opportunity.
Awesome. And the term meditative runner, I think that's a first, but I think that is quite true. I think for so many of us, running is a form of meditation, but never heard that as a term. So it's very fascinating to hear that. Meditative runner. I'm going to take that with me. All right. And while we are having so many interesting conversations, let's have another fun one. And that's where we have three statements from you. Two have to be truths, one has to be a lie. And I have to try and guess which one of these is a lie. So, do you have three such statements for us today?
I do. So, statement number one: in my teens, I played saxophone in a big band. So this was around high school. And I actually performed during official openings of buildings or company headquarters.
Okay.
Number two, before my telco career, I worked as part of the opening crew in Disney in Paris and went to Disney University to master customer engagement.
All right. That's interesting.
And number three, I've actually taken lessons in synchronized swimming and won a medal in my first competition.
Hmm. Quite honestly, Eva, as much as I know you, all these three things seem quite probable given your multifaceted nature. So, if you talk about playing saxophone in a band, now, interestingly, you've not brought out your music side yet. So, I'm going to take a moment on that. But learning customer service through none other than the Disney group and being part of the opening crew in Disney in Paris. Okay, that seems something quite possible, Eva, and something which she's carried with her further, and we'd love to hear more about that. And synchronized swimming, I think, again, given your athletic nature, I'm going to take a chance and say that's also the truth. And I do hope you have played the saxophone as well in a band. So I am going to hope for that. But just for the sake of this question, I'm going to say that's a lie. And the second and third ones are true. So am I right out here?
No, you're
Okay.
not.
That makes
So
it even more fun. All right. So let's hear it.
So yes, I did play saxophone. As a child, I traveled the world, so you could say roaming was part of my DNA right from the beginning. And during one of those travels, music was a big part of the school, the international school that I attended. So they basically forced you to play an instrument, and they also forced you to perform. Let's just say I quickly realized that it wasn't going to be a permanent career, but I did try on several occasions to play saxophone for an audience of a couple of hundred people, and it was it was scary. I don't know whether I enjoyed it, but I guess maybe it helped me to manage big crowds with something that you're not 100% comfortable with. So I did do that. I did do it. Um, I was also part of the opening crew in Disney, and I did go to Disney University and tried to learn the concept of the Disney smile, and how, although the customer is not always right, you have to engage. And you're right in your comment. This is something I think that I still use today in the way that I work. How do we collaborate and cooperate? And the last one, so the synchronized swimming, so it's a little bit of a twist. I guess I tried to put a trap in there because I did do synchronized swimming, but as I was afraid of doing somersaults underwater, I definitely never won a medal and I didn't compete.
Yeah, but I guess there is that element of swimming as well. So as I had said, that I thought as much that knowing your personality, all three would be true. And even the Disney experience, and the Disney smile, I never knew that's also a concept. I'm learning many new phrases from you. So there's the Disney smile. So I guess that would also be like learning from the epitome of customer service. And yes, something that can actually impact us in a way which we never get through our MBA lessons and our business meetings. So I can totally envy you for that experience that you've got on customer service.
Indeed, yeah.
And with that, the last question of this section now, Eva. If there's one thing you could change about your life, what would that one thing be?
Hmm. Also a good one. And I think my reply here is going to be, I mean, I'm not a person for regrets. I think when I take a decision, I like to stick to it and not look back. I don't know whether I'd want to change it, but I guess one thing that I am a little bit curious about, if you play this what if game, what if you did something different? And it comes to one of my points here with my little stint into entertainment slash Disney, because I was put in a position where they were offering me an education within this service management before I left. And I think my parents were telling me they wanted me to come back home and do some serious studying. That's the term that they used. I do sometimes wonder what my life would have been like if I had pursued that particular career. We would probably not be having the conversation today because I might be somewhere completely different. But I think because I am such a fan of human interaction and collaborating and working with people, that's probably the one question I've asked myself on and off. What could it have been if I had followed that career path as opposed to following the very strong recommendation from my parents to come home and study in business instead?
Well, yes, that would have been a very different and interesting path for sure. But I think telecom would have lost out on a fantastic individual. So I'll say one more here for telecom. And we are all glad that your parents put you into this decision. And we actually have Eva amongst our fraternity now. All right, Eva. And on that note, we come to our final question, our signature question. And this is very apt for you, given the human side that you actually keep talking about. What does being human mean to you? And what sort of a human being would you want the world to remember you as?
Yeah. So obviously, the pretty big questions. Um, I think curiosity, courage, and listening. That's what being human to me is. So it's this interaction. It's taking the time to listen, to explore, to not necessarily follow what everyone else is to follow the crowd, but to dare to ask the questions, to break out and have the courage to listen and really listen and take things into consideration. And it doesn't have to be big things, it can be little things in general. I think that's the human aspect from my perspective. People first, obviously.
Absolutely. I totally get that. I think having a people first approach, and, there are, I think, smaller things in life which matter so much more than the bigger ones and the bigger milestones which we keep pursuing. I think the human side and the people first approach helps take every individual a long way and helps take organizations a long way as well. So, absolutely. And is there any sort of a legacy or something specific you'd want people to remember Eva as?
Well, I guess as a people first person, and I hope to be remembered as someone who somehow managed to inspire, to change things, to innovate, to shake things up a little bit. I guess maybe that's what I would like to be remembered by, if it makes a difference, hopefully. And most importantly, I guess I wouldn't want to be remembered as something boring.
Well, I think that's far from the personality which you have, Eva. And I think whoever has got the fortune of interacting with this charismatic person, I can definitely say that you'll be left in awe. And again, I think that people first approach and that human side is just so obvious in the interactions. And that's actually the reason why I had to make sure that we get this wonderful person here on this show, which resonates with the theme of the show. So on that note, Eva, I know you're traveling around. Had you not been in Copenhagen today, as you mentioned, you would have been in Lisbon yesterday when we were originally planned to record this episode. So I know you have such a busy schedule, but thank you for taking out time. And I do hope in the coming months or the coming weeks, we do get a chance to cross paths with each other again. Thank you so much.
Thank you too, Anurag. Thank you for having me. And I also look forward to seeing you somewhere in the world, hopefully in the not too far away future.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Eva. And as always, to our wonderful listeners here, thanks a lot for tuning into the show. We hope this episode gave you a good glimpse of the human side of Eva Gildum, a proud Scandinavian hailing from the land of the Vikings, a meditative runner and a soulful saxophone player. Someone who has climbed the ladder from being a sales executive to a global telecom leader. Someone who is the life of the party, but equally has an introvert side and loves her quiet wine nights as well. And finally, someone who is on a mission to bring back the human side into our world of technology. That for us is Eva Gildum. So, if you enjoyed today's episode, do stay tuned in, because we shall soon be releasing yet another episode and another compelling story from the telecom space shortly. And do follow the podcast on your preferred streaming channel. On behalf of Humans of Telecom, this is your host Anurag Aggarwal signing off for now. Take care.